This is the type of information that people on the internet will literally charge you thousands of dollars for, and I'm giving it to you completely for free. So the single thing which allowed me to scale my own business to $50,000 per month was cold emails. So in this video, I want to share everything that I know after sending 1 million plus cold emails so that you are able to you're able to implement everything, and you are able to build your own cold email campaign, start sending emails, and land clients from it. So without wasting more time, let's jump right into it. So here's what we will be covering today. The first thing is we want to talk about who cold emails is not for. The second one is choosing the right sending tool. After that, we want to talk about setting up your email domains and then setting up your email accounts. After that is about building your leads list. So how do you actually find these email addresses of decision makers and clean that leads list? After that, writing your email copy for your email campaign. After that, crafting your video sales letter, your VSL. And then finally, we're gonna end off by talking about what you can do to actually scale your cold email campaign so you're able to reach out to people at volume. So the first thing that we'll be talking about is who cold emails is not for. So myself, I run a lead generation agency called salesway.io, and every single day I talk to a bunch of business owners who are trying to add cold email outreach as part of their process, right? They all tell me, hey, we are relying on word of mouth, relying on referrals, we're running paid ads, but we want to add cold email outreach due to its main scalability factor and its relatively low cost, right? But obviously, not every single business cold emails will work for, right? That's just the simple fact of the matter is cold emails will not work for everybody who tries it, right? So I put together a list of a few things on how I determine if cold emails will not work for that business. And obviously, even if you are within these industries or these guidelines, you can still test out cold emails. I just personally do not think that it will work that effectively, and you might not get the return that you're looking for, right? So the first one is cold emails will probably not work for you if you sell a really low ticket product or a low ticket service. So for example, if you run a software company and you sell your product for $300 a month, right? That probably isn't the best idea because it'll be very hard to make money using cold emails. Or if you're selling services and you're not able to charge over $1,000 a month minimum, then it could be very hard to make cold emails work effectively for you as well. And that's not to say that it won't work. It's just the strategy you use will have to be a little bit different. You need to sign a bunch of people. And in that case, cold emails may not be the best for you. The second one is if you run a B2C business. So if your business sells to everyday consumers, then cold emails might not be the best idea. And obviously I have another video I published earlier last week talking about the changes that Google is making to Gmail. And basically the summary of it is if you are reaching out to @gmail.com email addresses, then you run the risk of all your emails just landing in spam. And basically, if you're reaching out to consumers, it could also be very hard to get their email addresses. You might break certain rules and regulations depending on where you are and who you're reaching out to. But basically, B2C is probably not the best idea. And if you're selling B2B, then cold emails will work extremely effectively for you. And finally, if you're unable to invest anywhere from $300 to $500 every single month into the actual cold email infrastructure, right? So like everything else in business, this stuff does cost money. It doesn't cost a lot. You don't have to run thousands of dollars like if you were to rely on ads, for example, but it does cost a few $100 a month, right? So if you're unable to invest a few $100 every single month into the cold email infrastructure, then obviously this won't work. I talk a little bit more later in this video about the prices and what you can expect, but basically to keep it short, the email accounts does cost money. We're using the business versions of Outlook or Google Workspace, Squarespace Workspace, and it does cost money. So obviously you need money to invest into those email accounts, and the more money you're able to invest into those email accounts, the quicker and better your results. And if you're starting from zero and you tell me, hey Jimmy, I have $0 or I only have $50 that I can invest into cold emails, then what I'll tell you is this probably wouldn't be the best idea. And at that point, you probably should just think about continue relying on word of mouth and referral, maybe some organic stuff, or maybe just running up your money and saving a few $100 inside your bank account before you look into cold emails, right? So if you're looking to make cold emails work, you will need a few $100 a month. It's not much, but you still need that to make this work. So starting at the top in terms of choosing the right sending tool. So a really large aspect of cold emails really does come down to volume. And like anything else in sales, as the saying goes, volume negates luck. And it's pretty obvious, but if you send more emails, you will book more meetings. It's simple mathematics. So the more emails you send, the quicker your results. And it's very, very basic stuff, right? So if let's say John, he's sending 200 emails a day, he will get dramatically different results than Peter, who is sending 1,500 cold emails a day, right? That's just pretty obvious, right? And I don't feel like I need to explain this in more details, but the more emails you're able to send, the better and quicker your results will be, right? So obviously, if we're looking to send thousands of emails a day, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 plus emails, you're obviously not going to be sitting in front of your computer every single day, opening up Gmail, opening up Outlook, typing up these emails and sending them one by one. It simply does not make sense. So this is why we leverage an email sending software, right? Basically, this is a tool that allows us to automate our cold email sending. And this will allow us to automate our follow-up process, basically following up with leads on autopilot. So we reply back to people, we're emailing people, and you obviously want to follow up with them a couple times, but it could become pretty annoying and pretty frustrating to manually follow up with these people. And that's kind of where this cold email sending software really works extremely well, because that entire follow-up process will become automated and you don't really have to think too much about it. And there are countless email automation tools on the market, and I personally tried a bunch of them after sending over 1 million plus cold emails myself and for my clients. And after testing a bunch of tools, there are really two tools which really stands out on the marketplace. The first one is called smartlead.ai, and the second one is instantly.ai. And a lot of people ask me every single day, they DM me on Instagram and they're basically like, hey Jimmy, which one is the best? I'm using Instantly, I'm using SmartLead, how about the other tools? And what I personally tell them is I personally tested both Instantly and SmartLead.ai. Right now, I personally use SmartLead.ai, but essentially they are the same exact tools. The features are basically the exact same, but I personally use SmartLead.ai because I find their customer support to be slightly better than Instantly. They generally reply a little bit faster when you run into errors or different problems with the actual tool. So I personally use SmartLead.ai, but they're essentially the same and I wouldn't stress too much about it. I would just pick one and go with that. But they're basically the same exact tool. I just personally use SmartLead.ai. So jumping right into setting up the actual email domains. So in order to set up your emails for sending, your first step is to buy domains, email domains. And the reason why we want to do this is because you do not want to be sending cold emails using your main website. So what you want to do instead is buy what I would call secondary domains or burner domains that pretty much look similar to your main domain, your main website, and you'll be using those to send cold emails out of. And the reason why we're doing this is because cold emails falls under the realm of sales and marketing, and things change really, really quickly. And as you are sending cold emails, you will run into a possibility of getting your domain blacklisted. So if you're sending cold emails out of your main domain and your stuff gets blacklisted, then you're basically screwed. So what we do instead is we set up burner domains where we're sending cold emails out of, and in the scenario where they do get blacklisted, it's not the end of the world. You could just buy new domains and set up new email accounts and you'll be good to go again. So that's why we don't want to be sending cold emails out of your main domains. And for example, our main domain for my own agency is salesway.io. And here is a screenshot of some of the secondary domains that I bought. So I bought a ton. My main domain is salesway.io. And we see, for example, I have the sellerways.com, waysales.com, just a bunch of stuff that looks similar to my main domain, but is not my actual main domain. And these are what we'll be using to send our cold emails out of. So what you want to do is buy something similar, right, to your main website. So if your main business, the website is, let's say, facebook.com, you don't want to get burner domains that says google.com, right? Or something completely different. You might want to use something that looks and sounds similar to facebook.com, right? Without actually using your main domain, if that makes sense, right? And what you can do is you can buy your domains from Google/Squarespace Workspace. You can buy it from GoDaddy. You can buy it from Namecheap. They're basically all the exact same. I personally buy all my domains for myself and for my clients from porkbun.com. I just find it to be the best mix of cost and ease to set up, because every single one of these alternatives, GoDaddy, Namecheap, they all look a little bit different. They function the exact same, but the setup process is slightly different. So I personally found porkbun.com to be the easiest to set up. And once you buy all your domains, it's very important that you ensure that you set up your DMARC your DKIM, your SPF, and your website forwarding the right way. And if you are missing any of these things, then what will happen is your cold emails will land in spam. So to make sure that your emails land in the inbox with maximum deliverability, you always want to make sure your DMARC, your DKIM, your SPF, and your website forwarding is set up the right way. And here are 2 tools that I use to set up your DMARC and to set up your SPF record. So jumping right into MX Toolbox, pretty much this website will help you generate a DMARC report for your domains. It will generate it. All you have to do is copy and paste it into your domain provider and you should be good to go, right? So it automatically generates it for you. In this website, I typed in my domain that I want to do this for, salesway.io. I just pressed check DMARC record. And over here on the right side of the screen, this is kind of the record that you want to paste into your domain provider, right? So you set up as a text file and you paste this in, and this is the value. And all you would do is copy this into your domain provider. And this is how you generate that DMARC record for your domain. And then to generate your SPF record is basically the exact same. It's a different website. It's also under MX Toolbox. It's just SPF record generator rather than DMARC record generator. And I would do the same thing. So salesway.io, press the yellow button. And basically we scroll down a little bit and we see over here in the green, all you have to do is do the exact same thing again. And you would just copy the type, the host name, and the value and paste it into your domain provider. For me, I have it on porkbun.com, and I'll just paste that in. And after that, your DMARC and your SPF records are set up correctly. So once you have set up all your domains, you set up all the records there, your next step is to actually set up the email accounts. And these are what you'll be using to actually send the cold emails out of. And as of today, the 2 most common email providers is Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, and Google/Squarespace Workspace. Those are the 2 most common types. And when I first started sending cold emails for my own business, I actually started with Google Workspace. But what actually happened is because I'm sending a ton of emails, meaning I have 50 plus Gmail email accounts, Google Workspace accounts, I actually ran into an issue where every single time I needed to sign into the individual emails, Google will prompt me to ask to enter in a phone number. And I only have 1 phone, so I quickly ran into an issue where if I had to sign in to 30 email accounts, it wouldn't let me use the same phone number over and over again. And it was just really annoying and very frustrating. So what I actually did was I looked into Microsoft Outlook and I switched every email account I had over to Microsoft Outlook Business Basic, where now I don't need to verify any phone numbers. When I log in, it doesn't prompt me for a phone number, and it just eliminated the issue as a whole. And based on our own data, after sending over 1 million plus cold emails, Outlook actually has slightly better deliverability than Gmail and Google Workspace accounts. So that's what I personally use today, Outlook 365 Business Basic accounts, and I would strongly suggest you do the same, although you could use Google/Squarespace Workspace accounts if that is your choice. But I personally use Outlook Business Basic email accounts to send all my cold emails. And what I actually recommend is setting up 3 email accounts per 1 domain. Meaning, let's say my domain is salesway.com that I'll be using to send the cold emails out of. I'll set up 3 email accounts. The first one is jimmy@salesway.com. Email 2 is jim@salesway.com. And the third one is jim.fung@salesway.com. So I'm setting up 3 individual email accounts all under my name. I'm using a slightly different name because obviously you won't be able to create 3 that are the exact same, and you want to create it using your name or whoever's name that you're looking to send emails out of. And that's personally what I do. And here's a screenshot of what some of my email accounts look like, right? So this is a screenshot of my Microsoft 365 Admin Center. I have a ton of emails in here. And if you look under username for sign-in, you see this is exactly what I did, right? I have slightly different names for all of them across each of the domains. And in order to determine how many domains and email accounts you actually need to set up, here is the formula. Right? So the first one is, how do you determine how many email accounts you actually need? And the formula to get that is the total amount of emails that you want to send every single day divided by 30 emails per account. And then to find out how many domains that you actually need to buy and set up, it would be email accounts that you need. So the number that you get from the first formula divided by 3. So I know this might sound a little bit complex. So for example, let's say you want to send 1,500 cold emails per day. What you need to do is you're sending 1,500 divided by 30 emails per account, meaning what you need is you need 50 email accounts. You need 50 Microsoft Outlook 365 Business Basic licenses. And to determine how many domains you actually want to buy and set up, it would be 50 email accounts needed because we need 50 Microsoft 365 Business Basic accounts divided by 3, meaning you would need to set up 17 domains. And the reason why you want to cap out at 30 to 35 emails per account is because if you are sending more than 30 to 35, then what will happen is you run the risk of all your emails landing into spam. So you wouldn't be able to send 60, 70, 80, 100 emails out of one individual email account. And what you could do is you'd be able to send 30 to 35. That's kind of the safe limit that I personally found. I've tested a bunch of stuff, but I found 30 to 35 to work really, really well in terms of not landing in spam. So remember earlier when I mentioned that in order to make cold emails work, you need to invest anywhere from $300 to $500 a month earlier. And this is kind of what I mean, right? The bulk of that money that you'll be investing will be into the email account. So each Outlook Business Basic account, it costs $6 per month. So every single month, you need to spend $6 per one email account that you're setting up. Meaning if you are looking to send 1,500 cold emails per day, that will probably cost you around $300 per month, right? Because 50 times 6, 50 email accounts that you need to send 1,500 times 6 equals to $300 monthly. So that's kind of what I mean, right? If you're starting out with $50 or $100, you won't be able to set up that many email accounts. And if you don't set up enough email accounts, then you won't be able to send that many cold emails, and cold emails doesn't work that well if you're only sending 50 emails per day or 100 emails per day. It'll take you a really, really long time to get results. So it will take you a really long time and you won't really get that many replies and that many booked meetings from cold emails. So the good news is the amount that you spend is directly correlated with how many meetings you will book, and the amount of meetings that you book will directly correlate with how many new customers and new clients you will sign and how much money you make. So the return on your investment is really, really quick. So if you are able to invest $300 to $500 a month, you will get back your money really, really quick because you just get results really quickly and you'll be able to sign clients ASAP, basically, right? So that's kind of the good news is you won't take 3-4 months to make back a return on the $300 that you invested into the system, and you will get a return extremely, extremely quick. So after you set up your email accounts, what you then want to do is you want to warm up these emails for 14 days. And essentially what you're doing is you are ramping up these email accounts so that once you launch your cold email campaigns, your emails will land in the inbox as opposed to landing in the spam or the junk section of the email provider. And this step is essential and you 100% must do this. And what you want to do is you can set up your email accounts to warm those emails using a tool like instantly.ai or smartly.ai. Again, I personally use smartly.ai, but Instantly does the exact same thing and it's kind of just more of a preference decision, if that makes sense, right? So again, I personally use Smartly AI for this, and Smartly actually has a 14-day free trial, aka the same time frame as your warming period. So what I personally do and what I recommend for you is to leverage this 14-day trial and warm up your email accounts using that free trial so that by the time your smartly.ai subscription actually kicks in, you're actually sending emails and you'll be able to get a return quickly and you'll be able to see results quickly. I don't think instantly.ai has the same 14-day free trial for the warming period. I think they cap the amount of emails you can use to warm up using the free trial. But that's one of the reasons why I personally use smartly.ai, right? So, but again, that's entirely your decision and is more of a preference thing. And here you can see kind of a screenshot of my own smartly.ai account. I have 49 email accounts and all of them are warming up, right? So this is exactly what I use. And if you were to use smartly.ai, it will look exactly the same for you as well. So after you set up all your email addresses and you have them warming in your warming tool, your next step is to actually find the email addresses of these decision makers. You're emailing them, so obviously you need their email addresses. There's a bunch of tools on the market that does this. Personally, what I recommend if you're just starting out with cold emails is to use Apollo.io, which is exactly what you're seeing on my screen right now. This is Apollo.io. I have another video on my channel talking about how you want to build these leads lists in much more detail, but just to show you how this would work, you would just fire up Apollo.io and this is what you see. And what you want to do is you want to use these filters to find exactly who it is that you want to contact. So for example, let's say I am trying to cold email software development agencies. What I want to do is I want to figure out who those decision makers are. Let's say I'm selling cold emails to them. There's a very strong chance it might be the CEO or the founder. So I'm just going to write in CEO. I'm going to write in founder. And I'm going to write in co-founder. And obviously, depending on what you are selling, there might be multiple different decision makers, and depending on the size of the company, these decision makers might change as well. So that's the job title. Let's say I only want to do software development agencies in North America. I'll put North America under the filter. Employee headcount, let's say 1 to 10 and 11 to 20. So again, this is a really accurate filter for determining how big these companies are. Obviously, if you're emailing companies with 100 plus employees, you can expect that they're making a ton of money, probably multiple millions of dollars a month in revenue, versus if you're emailing 1 to 10, they might only be making tens of thousands of dollars a month in revenue instead, right? And then industry and keywords, what you could put is software development. So it doesn't actually exist as an industry. So what you can do instead is you can use company keywords, and you can include keywords like software development, and that will give you the decision makers, right? So as we can see, there are 59,000 founders, CEOs, co-founders of these software development agencies in North America between the size of 1 to 20. And obviously you want to scroll through this list and double check to make sure that these people actually run software development agencies. But for the purposes of this video, so that it doesn't get too long, I'm just going to assume that this is an accurate leads list. So you want to go back, and when you're doing this yourself, you actually want to double check. You want to click inside each of these companies just to make sure that they are exactly what you're looking for, and you're not wasting your credits and wasting your time building an accurate leads list. But let's assume this works. What I'm going to do after that is I'm just going to highlight, let's say 25, and I'm going to download it as a file. I'm just going to download it, and we see that I have almost 50,000 saved because this was an industry that I reached out to. And what you want to do after that is you want to head on over to millionverifier.com. This is pretty much what we'll be using to clean these leads list, because even on Apollo or LinkedIn or whatever other tool you're using to scrape your leads list, the email addresses that you get, they might be outdated, they might be wrong, they might have guessed those email addresses. And if you were to email those people directly without cleaning your leads list, what will happen is your bounce rates will be really high, because these are businesses and people change jobs very, very frequently. Maybe they just quit their job and those email addresses become invalid. And if you were to cold email those people, the email will just bounce. And if you get a bounce rate above 2 to 3%, what that will do is it will impact your email reputation over time, and all of your cold emails will actually land in the spam box. So what you want to do is every single leads list that you're scraping off of Apollo or the tool of your choice, you want to make sure you are cleaning those email addresses. So I'm on millionverifier.com. This is personally what I use. There's a bunch of tools. There's like neverbounce.com. There's a bunch of stuff. I just personally use this. And what you want to do is take that leads list that you just scraped off of Apollo, and you want to upload it, and we want to verify it. And usually this does take a couple minutes, and this is what you want to do. So I'm just going to pause this video and resume once that is done. Okay, awesome. So that email list has finally finished verifying. And what we can see right now is I uploaded a list with 17 email addresses, and we see 11 of them are good, 5 of them are risky, and 1 of them are bad. And I recommend only emailing these good email accounts. So there are 11. So these 11 emails, when you do cold email them, you know that they're not likely to bounce. But if you were to email these 5 risky ones or the 1 bad one, then what will happen is your emails will probably bounce. So when you're sending cold emails, you want to just make sure that you're emailing these good ones. So the 11 over here. And this is basically how you would verify your leads list. You would just download the report and download the good emails only. And these are the people that you would be sending cold emails to. Okay, cool. So now that you have your leads list, you scraped it, you verified it, your next step is to actually write your cold email campaigns and focus more on setting up that cold email campaign sequence. And this is kind of what is the moneymaker in terms of cold emails, is scripting your actual cold emails and what you're actually saying when you're reaching out to these people. And this is by far where most people struggle, as it does require the most skill, it requires the most dedication, and it requires some research to actually become good at it. So it's not likely something that you become good at overnight, but in this video, I want to provide you a framework so you can then go back, and as you are writing these cold emails, you are more likely to succeed, basically, right? But to skip to the sauce, obviously there are different frameworks you can use, but every successful cold email, it really boils down to the following variables. The first one is your intro. Your second one is your offer. The third one is case studies, if you have any. And finally, the fourth one is your call to action. So kind of what your next steps are and what the next steps after this cold email process is. And based on my data of after sending 1 million plus cold emails and booking hundreds of sales calls, the best cold emails, it follows the following guidelines. So the first one is your cold email that you're writing, it should be under 20 seconds to read. So the biggest mistake you can make is writing 3 to 4 paragraph long cold emails, because nobody's reading that, right? Attention is very scarce, and no one is going to take 3 minutes to read your cold email message. What they'll do is they'll get the notification on their phone, they'll click into that cold email, and what they'll do is they will quickly skim it. So if they're unable to understand what you're saying and what you're trying to sell in a 10 to 20 second skimmable period, then your cold email will become very irrelevant. The second one is make sure your cold email is extremely direct and to the point with very little fluff. So every single sentence you write, every single word that you write in your cold email, it should be there for a reason. And if it doesn't add to the value of that conversation, then it should not be there. So after that, you also want to make sure that your cold emails is focused on them, so the reader, and less of you or me. So a lot of people, they send cold emails and they write stuff like, hey John, hope you're having an amazing day. I am Jimmy Fung. I'm the founder of Sales Without Oil, the fastest growing lead generation company in Canada, right? And what I actually said, if you were to write that out, is that entire few sentences that's very focused on me, and as a reader, you don't really care who I am. You don't care that I'm the founder of this company. You don't care that my company is the fastest growing in Canada. Those are irrelevant details, and it does not move the conversation forward. So you don't even need to write any of those things into your cold emails. And a lot of people, when they're writing cold emails, they actually write stuff like that. I get tons of cold emails myself, and most people, they actually include those details, which are completely irrelevant. And finally, you want to make sure that the cold emails that you're writing, it has an offer that is very clear. So whoever it is that skims your cold emails, you want to make sure they actually understand what you're saying. And the largest mistake you can make is writing a cold email where at the end of that email, whoever reads it, they're left scratching their head and they're left saying, what's this person saying? What's this person asking? And the reason if they are left scratching their head is because what you're writing is just very unclear and is not direct. So jumping right into it, fundamentally, this is what your successful cold email can look like. I wrote an example here, and let me just read it out to you, right? Hi John, we make it unreasonable for software development agencies to not sign 3 to 5 projects in the next 89 days without relying on word of mouth by leveraging our outbound prospecting framework, and we only get paid on results. Put together a quick video running through how this works. Mind if I share it with you? ? And the reason why this cold email works well is because, as you can see, based on these guidelines, it fits all of these guidelines. This email, it is under 20 seconds to read. This email is very direct to the point with very little fluff. This email, every single word and every single sentence is there for a reason and moves the conversation forward. I don't talk about me. I don't talk about my company. I'm only talking about how I can help the reader or whoever it is that I'm cold emailing. And this email also has an offer that is very clear. This is what I do, this is who I help, and this is the expected result you can get. Are you interested to hear more? And that's the basic premise of why this is a pretty good cold email. And it has the offer and has the call to action. And if you do have a case study, you would put that inside this cold email as well. But this is, again, right, this is fundamentally a good cold email, as it's direct to the point, it's zero fluff, and our offer is clear. And if you were to copy this email and paste it into a read to word read time checker on the internet, you can see that this email will take the average reader 19 seconds. So it is extremely skimmable. And a really large aspect as to why this cold email will actually work is also because of the call to action, right? So that's kind of your next step. You're telling the reader what you do and how you can help them. What is your next step? And the way that most people, they actually send cold emails, the way that most people teach cold emails, if you were to watch a different YouTube video talking about this, is the call to action is actually asking for a call or asking for a time. Hey John, if it's good with you, let's set up a quick time to chat later this week on Thursday or Friday. How does that sound? Question mark. But that's actually not a really good way to write your cold email. So this is an example of a cold email that I actually got. You can pause the video and read through this cold emails. But as you can see in the call to action over here, Rachel is actually saying, can you chat later today? That's her next step. Do you have time to chat, to set up a Zoom call to chat? And what you have to understand is the people that you're reaching out to over cold email is cold traffic. And what that means is these people, number one, they don't know who you are at all. And number two, they also do not trust you. So let me ask you this. If you don't know who I am and you also don't trust me, why would you take 30 minutes out of your day to jump on a sales call with me so that I can sell you and pitch you my services? That doesn't make sense, right? And obviously that's exactly why people who use this call to action, this is exactly why a lot of people struggle to get replies and to actually get booked meetings, because these people don't know or trust you. And what you have to do is you have to put and establish your credibility and your authority first before you make an ask. So what you also want to do is you also want to make sure that you're giving these people something first before asking for something in return, which is exactly why we are using something called the value permission-based call to action. Basically, what we're doing is we're asking for permission to give them something of value first, and only if and after they go through that video that I'm giving them, that I'm explaining a concept to them, if they find it valuable, then you can ask for a call on the calendar, right? So this is my call to action. Put together a quick vid running through how this works. Mind if I share it with you here? And if you think about it, what I'm basically saying in this sentence, in this question, is I'm basically saying, hey, we can help you do this. We are able to do it like this. And this is for you if you are a software development agency. We're able to solve this problem. I put together a quick video showing you how you can get 3 to 5 clients. Can I share it with you? So we're asking for permission to give them value. We're asking for permission to show them how they can do this themselves, right? And the way this works and the reason why it works so well, it's because it's kind of a no-brainer on their end if they actually have a problem which you can help solve. And this way, this call to action is a lot lower friction since you're asking to give them value as opposed to asking for something from them right off the bat, as opposed to asking for time on the calendar without them knowing or trusting you. So using a value permission-based call to action in your actual cold emails, it will instantly skyrocket your reply rates because it's just common sense, right? I wouldn't want to take 30 minutes of my time getting sold to. But if someone were to ask me, hey, we could do this, do you want to see how we do it? I'm much more likely to reply back. So this by itself will instantly skyrocket your reply rates. So what you also want to do as you are writing these cold emails is you also want to put yourself in the shoes of the receiver and ask yourself, if you were to get a cold email like the one that you wrote, would you actually reply back, or would you just ignore it or even mark it as spam? So if you would actually reply back to an email, if someone were to send that to you, then you know you're onto something good, right? So realistically, the first cold email that you will actually write yourself and the first cold email that you will launch yourself, it probably won't work that well. You might not get a ton of replies. You probably won't get a bunch of booked meetings from that. But what you'll actually want to do is you want to iterate it over and over again and tweak seemingly tiny variables until you make it work. And this is personally how I learned cold emails. I just sent a ton of cold emails and a lot of them just failed and didn't work that well. But over time, after sending tons of emails, I kind of got a much better idea and understanding as to what works and what doesn't. And this was actually a screenshot of a client who we started working with around a year ago, who we booked meetings for using cold emails. He runs a recruitment agency and he works with large companies. And as you can see, he said that he was working with an existing lead gen agency and it just never got him the results. And a few weeks later, he told us that he was actually able to sign VMware and Interlink Mortgage as clients. And we were able to help him book meetings with these two companies, which he then closed and signed deals with. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because cold emails work extremely well from different aspects of companies, right? So he was able to sign VMware. And for those of you who do not know who or what VMware is, just search it up on Google. And what you see is this is $1 billion tech company, right? So using cold emails, we were able to help him close a deal with a billion-dollar tech company. So meaning this process works extremely well. And if you're emailing businesses, cold emailing businesses, this will work whether you're emailing small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and even billion-dollar businesses, right? So again, the reason I'm showing you this is because cold emails can book you meetings with literally billion-dollar companies. And this really shows the power of cold emails because it can be used to reach out to basically anybody as long as it's a business. So again, if you are reaching out to consumers, to everyday people, cold emails might not be the best channel for you. So after you have crafted your cold email campaign, your next step is actually to create what is called a video sales letter or a VSL. So remember how inside the cold email campaign, cold email copy, I mentioned how your call to action should be a value permission-based CTA. Mind if I share with you a quick video? Obviously, a ton of people are gonna reply, yes, let's see the video. And this is exactly what you'd be sending them. It's a video sales letter. And this is kind of the secret sauce because most people actually don't leverage one. And this is why most people do not succeed with cold emails. And I've never seen anyone talk about this on the internet. I kind of just stumbled across it one day. I was just testing different things and I stumbled across it. And no one else ever talks about it. I'm just not sure why. And once I figured this out, this is kind of what my calendar looked like, right? So this was for my own lead generation agency. It's called salesway.io, but a few months ago, it was actually called Burrow Group. I think salesway.io sounds a lot better. But all of these aqua things that you see in my calendar, they're actually sales calls. And I was able to generate just a ton of sales calls using this process. So I know that it works extremely well, right? And most people who struggle with cold emails, they do not even know what a VSL is. They do not have any form of video. And this is exactly the secret sauce, which is what allowed me to succeed with cold emails and book a ton of meetings. So remember earlier how I mentioned that people who you cold email, since they are cold traffic, they don't know or trust you. So how do we actually take those people and get them to now actually know and trust you? So please pay attention here because this is what will create interest for what you sell. This is what will create trust, what will build rapport, and what will help to pre-sell your prospects by warming them up. And the secret is by leveraging a video sales letter, a VSL for your offer. And this is kind of the difference between collecting cash quickly in your business by generating a ton of sales calls or struggling and feeling like you are scraping for pieces and scraping for meetings here and there. And once I figured this out, it completely changed the game for me. And I actually created these videos, and I know what you might be thinking. You might be saying to yourself, I can't create this video because I just can't speak English that well. I can't create this video because I don't have a nice camera. I don't have a mic. But trust me, my first video sales letter, my first VSL that I ever created, it was pretty bad and it was pretty much complete garbage, right? I actually filmed it off of my laptop webcam, my built-in microphone, and I had zero editing. And even though it was completely terrible, I ran with this VSL and it printed me sales meetings left and right. And I never really worried about where my next sales call was coming from because I would just wake up and I would see meetings on my Google Calendar pretty much, right? So in that video, I talked about the benefits of my own services. I was selling lead generation services. So I specifically talked about that. I talked about how cold emails work and why it's important. And the call to action in my video sales letter was actually mind if I share a quick video showing you how this works. So the purpose of your cold email, whatever it is that you're writing, is just to get a reply. That is your goal. You're not trying to book a meeting off your cold email. You're just trying to get replies. And the purpose of your VSL is to actually book meetings. So that's kind of the fundamental difference. And the VSL that I actually made, my very first one that was completely terrible, it kind of cooked, right? And I printed meetings left and right, and I was able to sign a bunch of clients for my own lead generation agency. And I ran a VSL for my clients using this exact same process, talking about their specific services that they sell. So that recruitment agency that I talked over with you guys earlier, who was able to sign VMware and Interlink Mortgage, we actually created a video sales letter for him talking about his own recruitment services, the benefits of it, and the step-by-step process of how his services work. And it just works really, really well. And I've done VSLs in a bunch of different industries for my clients, in marketing agencies, in software companies, recruitment agencies, logistics companies, accounting firms, coaches, and consultants. So I know this process works extremely well. And if you do it the right way, it will work. It's worked in so many different industries. And if you are selling your product and service to a B2B industry, there's no reason why leveraging a video sales letter will not work for you and your business. So if you like making money, then I strongly suggest you add in a VSL or a video sales letter inside of your outreach process. And if you do this process correctly, this is what you can expect. You can expect that you might be able to sell your service without talking to people. So using a video sales letter, I've actually had people email me back and asking me for the invoice and just how to get started right away. So without even needing to jump on a sales call, they're interested in working together. If you have a great video sales letter, everything else can be terrible. You could be missing some aspects inside your actual cold email, and your funnel might be bad, but it will still convert like a champ because of your video sales letter, and it'll do a lot of the heavy lifting. If you have a great video sales letter, you'll be able to warm up your prospects prior to the actual sales call, and it will significantly shorten the sales cycle length because they already know what you do, how you can help them, and they already trust you to agree. You'll also be able to qualify your prospects much better because in your video sales letter, you'll be able to specifically call out who it is your services or your product helps. So for example, if you are selling recruitment services to tech companies and you cold email and it just so happens someone who runs a marketing agency stumbles across your video sales letter, they'll know right away that your services are not meant for them because you only work with tech companies, and you call that out inside your video sales letter. And if you pair up a video sales letter, you pair up the strategy with a way to put thousands of eyeballs on your business. So in this specific case, cold emails, that's what will allow you to generate attention for your business. Then you will basically just make it rain, essentially, right? And basically, this is the process that will turn cold traffic. So again, people who don't know or trust you, and turn them into people who are now warm prospects, meaning they do know what you do, they know how you can help them, and they know and trust you to a degree. And this is kind of a diagram to show you how the VSL works and how it pairs inside of your outreach process. So obviously starting at the top is your actual cold emails. So your cold email sequence with a value CTA, people will reply back saying, yep, let me take a look at that video. And after that, you will send them over to your VSL. And what I actually do is I put my VSL onto YouTube. So I'll send them over the link to that YouTube video talking specifically about my services and how I can help them. The prospect will watch the VSL, and if you do the process correctly, they'll either do two things. They'll either reply back to your email asking you a question or asking you, when can we chat? Or they will book a call directly off of that VSL because you'll put your calendar link in the description section. So those are the kind of the two things that will happen if you have a great VSL. And then obviously you jump onto those sales calls and it'll be much lower friction because they already know what you do. And they're just there to figure out if it's the best fit for them, as opposed to whether the whatever it is that you're selling can actually work. So that's kind of the whole idea. And this is the secret sauce and why most people struggle with cold emails. So I talk to a lot of people every single day, and some of the people I talk to, they actually tell me, Jimmy, we tried cold emails in the past and it just never worked. Or Jimmy, we're sending cold emails right now and it's just not working that well effectively. And the first question I always ask them is, hey, are you leveraging a video sales letter? And 9 in 10 people, basically almost every single person, says, no, I don't know what that is. What's a VSL? What's a video sales letter? I never heard of it. And this is the secret sauce. So if you're able to implement this process and do it the right way, you will book meetings. And again, most people, they don't even know what a VSL is. I've never seen anyone ever talk about leveraging a VSL as part of your cold email outreach process. And once I figured this process out myself, I've never sent a single cold email for myself or for my clients without one, because it just works so well. So you have a cold email campaign, you have your VSL, you have your leads list, and you have all of your email accounts and domains warming and ready to send cold emails. But how do you actually scale to 1,500 plus cold emails a day? Because again, volume negates luck. But the secret to scale is pretty simple, right? Simplicity is key. And if you are not able to succeed sending 100, 200 emails a day, then sending 1,000, 1,500, or 2,500 plus cold emails per day will not solve your problem. So obviously, if you're sending less emails, it will take you a long time to get results. It will take you much longer to get replies, but you should still be able to get replies. It might not be much, but you still will be able to get results. So if you're sending a small amount of emails and your metrics are just completely bad, your open rates are terrible, your reply rates are bad, and no one is even replying back in an interested manner, then sending 1,000 emails per day will not solve your problems. And sending more volume is a way to scale up what's already working. So if you're sending 200 emails a day and you're getting a few replies a day, then sending 5 times more volume will get you 5 times more replies and 5 times more results. But scaling volume, it really only works once you have the fundamentals down, because even though volume is key, we're not here to spam people. We're not just trying to blast out 100,000 cold emails and expect it to work. That's not what I'm saying. You want to make sure that the cold emails you're sending, they're extremely relevant and they work well. And once you have it working well, then you want to scale your volume to get the maximum results and get results as quick as humanly possible. But as you send more cold emails, assuming you do have the fundamentals down, what you notice is you will notice different constraints and bottlenecks inside of your cold email system. So for example, if you were only sending, let's say 200 emails a day and you're getting, let's say 5 replies, it might only take you 5 to 10 minutes a day to actually reply back to these people. But what if you were sending a lot more emails and you were getting 50 to 100 replies every single day? Now that might take you an hour or 2 hours a day to reply back to all of these people. And that's exactly what I mean by constraints and bottlenecks. So what I'm telling you is scaling your volume, even though it will get you more results, if you don't have the fundamentals down, it's not gonna work that well and the system will break. And what I've noticed after working with tons of people, I've worked with 50 plus clients for my own agency. I'm working with a bunch of people one-on-one to build out their cold email system, is as you scale your volume and send more emails, you are getting more results. But the 2 most common constraints or bottlenecks that you will encounter is either your leads list. So obviously if you're sending 1,500 plus cold emails a day, you will need a large amount of people to actually email to. And if you don't have that, then obviously the volume will not work. And the second one is inbox management, right? So the people that reply back to you, you will get a lot more replies, and you obviously do not want to be spending hours of your day just simply replying back to people. Is not the best use of your time. So as you scale your volume, these are the 2 things that you want to keep in mind: is how are you able to consistently get email addresses of decision makers, and how are you able to reply back to these people every single day in a timely manner without burning yourself out. So those are the 2 things that you want to consider. Personally, for leads list, what I do is I actually have custom scrapers built on Apollo, because what you find is Apollo, you can only scrape 25 email addresses at a time, and there is an export limit. And obviously, when I was sharing my screen with Apollo, I have over basically 1 million email addresses saved. And obviously that's not something you'll be able to do if you are manually scraping 25 at a time. And you also want to look and consider hiring an inbox manager. So this is basically a virtual assistant that you hire, that you train them up on how you will reply back to prospects. And this is what I use inside my own lead generation agency and for all of my clients, right? So on a day-to-day basis, the only thing that I think about is how do I write good cold emails and how do I make sure the metrics are working well. And those are basically the 2 things that I spend my time thinking about. I don't think about how do I scrape more leads or how to reply back to people. I don't want to spend my time thinking about those 2 things. And if you are a business owner or you run a lead generation agency, you probably don't want to be spending your time and hours every day thinking about these 2 things as well. So those are the 2 things that you want to consider, that as you scale, these are the 2 most common bottlenecks and constraints that you will run into. So basically, that's basically the video of how you be able to send cold emails, make it work for you, and book tons of meetings using cold emails as a channel. And this video, I didn't gatekeep any information. And if you do take action and implement what I just shared in this video, you will make money 100%. There's simply no way. And this is the type of information that gurus and people on the internet, they'll try to sell this information to you for thousands of dollars. And I'm giving it to you completely for free. Now, obviously, all of this stuff will make sense, right? Writing the cold email copy will make sense. Scraping your leads list will make sense. Crafting your VSL will make sense until you actually do it. And when you do it, you will run into problems, you will run into challenges, and you will have questions. And as a business owner yourself, it's kind of your job to figure these things out, right? If business was easy, every single person would do it. If this stuff was easy, everyone would do it. So there is a very large element of problem solving here. And doing this process yourself, it might take you a couple months to get results. It might take you 3 months. It might take you 6 months. It might even take you a year to figure these things out yourself, which is exactly why I have an offer for you. So if you made it to the end of this video and you went through this entire video and you are still really interested in making cold emails work for your business, sending out cold emails and just filling up your sales calendar and talking to ready to buy clients, then here is my offer to you. I will work with you personally one-on-one for the next 3 months to make sure that you have a cold email system that just works from day one, right? Obviously, there's a lot of different variables and moving parts with cold emails, and you can go and implement everything that I shared in this video, but it might take you a few months to make it actually work and to get results. It might take you 3 months, it might take you 6 months, it might take you over a year to actually get results. It's relatively simple, but it's 100% not easy. So what I do is I work with you one-on-one for the next 3 months to make sure every single aspect of the cold email system just works from day one. And the second you launch cold emails, you will get replies, you will book meetings, and you will land your first few clients using cold emails. So that's kind of my offer to you. The main idea behind it is I'm saving you time, because you can go and implement these things and make it work on your own, but it might take you a while. Or you can work with me, who I've done this for 50 plus clients at my own agency. I'm personally working with around 30 people now one-on-one, and I just kind of see what works. I've sent over 1 million plus cold emails, and the chance of it working from day one is very, very high if you're working with me. So that's kind of my offer, is personalized one-on-one directly with me. And if you are interested, I included a link to my calendar in the link below. So set up a call, and on that call, we will see if I can help you at all. Again, cold emails does not work for every single person. So if we talk and I determine that I don't think cold emails could work for you, and I don't think I could personally help you with that, then I will tell you and I will let you know. But if you are interested in figuring out cold emails, working directly with me, and pretty much skipping the entire process of testing different things and figuring it out on your own, then book a time with me. My calendar is in the description below, and I'll see you there. Thank you.